I am joined by Michael Heflin, Chief Revenue Officer for StayNTouch, coming to us from Petoskey, Michigan, US of A. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Jason. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm going to make it, I think.
It's good to hear. Thank you so much for having me on today. Really excited to be here. As I told you, I'm mostly just excited and jealous of your setup over there.
Most people like the head.
Yeah.
There we go.
Unfortunately, Superman, actually, but it's all good
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, he's good. Well, tell us about yourself. You're new there somewhat, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I've been at StayNTouch now for about 2 months. StayNTouch has gone through sort of a reshuffling of leadership over the last couple of months as it undertook new ownership. So the VC firm that sort of set us up brought in a whole new leadership team from across the industry. So most previously, I was with what is now Internova Travel Group, previously known as Travel Leaders Group, which is a giant conglomerate of travel agencies across sort of all three of the major spectrums. So, the pure luxury B2C travel agencies, a giant corporate traditional sort of managed travel arm, and then a huge cruise industry as well. So had a lot of fun there. I ran all of the hotel programs across the book, and then most recently ran Andrew Harper, which is a ultra high-end luxury leisure travel agency membership program that's been around for 40 something years. So had a good run, but really, really excited to be here at StayNTouch, working with our new CEO as well, Tom Underwood, who I had the great pleasure of working with at Orbitz Worldwide back prior to the Expedia acquisition. So yeah, great to get the team back together.
Yeah. So you probably had a rough go though, like the rest of us last year, right?
Yes. 2020 was uniquely challenging, I think, for the industry as a whole. We learned a lot of lessons. I mean, I'll be honest. I think that, like most things in life, struggle makes you stronger. I think we learned exactly how resourceful this industry is, exactly how sort of defiant and willing to hang on and see things through. But maybe most importantly, how supportive this industry is. The hospitality industry, especially, but the travel industry as a whole, is just a very special place full of very special people, a lot of whom are in this because they genuinely care about caring for people. And I think we saw that all across the industry, the way that people stepped up, supported each other. I know we were very honored to be a part of that, very honored to have come out of it. And, we really believe in the mission at StayNTouch of helping every hotelier be guest-centric, right? Unburdening their operations so they can focus on the guests. And I think now more than ever, people need that. People need to feel positivity from other people, and we want to be the technology platform that enables that as the travel rebound, sort of fully comes back in the swing, which it certainly is starting to do.
Yeah. So what kind of challenges do you think the industry is facing, now that we're starting to come out of this?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is the challenge that we're most facing is maybe one we've been facing for years anyways, only it's been sort of significantly amplified, which is personalization of service has taken on sort of a whole new meaning as we've gone through COVID. People are in very different places, right? People have very different risk profiles. People have very different comfort levels. I think as hoteliers move forward, giving the guest more control over their own experience becomes especially critical, right? This used to be a great way to just sort of engage with your guests, understanding their unique desires. This has moved way beyond a customer preference, right? To now being a customer demand, that if you can't make me personally feel both safe and welcome, it's going to be very hard for me to trust in the hospitality experience. And so finding and empowering hoteliers that can create a multitude of avenues for connection, for everything from sort of check-in to printing guest folios, right? There are people who want to do that fully touchless and without coming into contact with anyone. There are others, I probably fall more firmly into this camp, that have just missed human contact and frankly would love to stand around and chat with whoever in the hotel is willing to have a conversation. So I think being able to respond to that, having a software infrastructure that allows you to be flexible in the design of even like your check-in lines, right? The beauty of StayNTouch property management platform, you don't have to have a check-in line because you don't have to have a front desk. You can meet people where they are. You can space as much as you want. You can put chairs in the corner of your lobby and do, personalized check-in experiences if you want. So, I really think that idea of customizing every step has become, this was a trend anyways. It went from being a sort of competitive differentiator to a must-have. And I think software that enables that is uniquely positioned to help hoteliers meet this demand and really make guests feel comfortable, right? Whatever that means to them as we move forward with, people want to get back out into the world. There's no doubt about that. We see what demand looks like. I know how heavy demand is already for next year. We know that the demand is going to be there. It's the ability to fulfill that in a way that puts people at ease that's going to be critical. And while that's a challenge, it's also something that's exciting because it's making us all better.
Yeah. So what do you think the most important capability of a PMS is?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that there's two answers to that, coming from each side of the spectrum. So I think that the most important functionality of a PMS from a hotelier's side is, sort of simplicity and efficiency. Most hoteliers don't get into the hotel game because they want to sit in an office and manage inventory, right? They get into this business because they want to deliver hospitality. And so a property management system that enables them to do that removes a lot of the burden of the management processes and really, as we call it, sort of empowers hospitality, is to me the most important part of this. This should not be something that you look at as management software. It should be something that exists to enhance your experience and allow you facilitation of whatever guest experience you can dream up. I think interestingly, customers aren't even aware of this, but on the customer side, the answer is almost the same, which is that I don't want to be burdened within my travel experience. I don't want to be restricted to one option. I don't want to get off a red eye into London and stand in line at a check-in counter with everybody else who just got off a red eye from New York to London, right? I want to be able to hit the ground running. I want to be able to drop my bags and check in on the go. I want to be able to use my mobile key to go right to my room because I'm exhausted and I'm hoping for a nap before lunch, right? All of those things are really key. And so while we may not recognize the platform as a consumer that enables that, as someone who's spent 10 years in consulting doing the true business travel grind, I certainly understand how nice it is to be able to choose which option I want and have that flexibility to manage my own hospitality experience. And so it's really two sides of the same coin, which is being unburdened. I want to be untethered from a specific set of operational steps that I've got to take to create or experience great hospitality. I think that is going to be the key differentiator moving forward.
What's the next 24 months look like? Get out your crystal ball.
Yeah, that's great. I think that the next 24 months will look very much like an explosion of a concentration of demand. So I think that we've sat in a very weird place right now where because supply is so restricted, demand is actually being pushed down to like an unnatural equilibrium, right? So there's a lot of people that aren't traveling even though they want to because the options are just too limited. And because the places you can go have been sold out for months. I mean, hilariously, sort of still have a lot of relationships on the travel agency side. And my best friend is planning a honeymoon. They really wanted to go out west in June. You want to find a nice hotel in the mountains, you're looking at June of 2022 if you're lucky. People are re-envisioning what's possible and what they're willing to do to get out of the house. For all of us, especially those of us with young kids, we know is an absolute adamant need here in the near future. So I think it's going to be a really exciting next 24 months. I think that people who do hospitality by nature have a real desire to share that experience with others. And so I think that the experience at hotels is going to be spectacular. I think as weird as that sounds, it's like a person who built a guest house and has not been able to welcome any family into town for 14 months. Like when I have to see family every 2 months, maybe I don't want to, but when I don't see 14 months, all I want to do is share a drink, right? And share a bonfire. And so I think that there are a lot of hoteliers out there feeling exactly the same way. They're absolutely chomping at the bit for the ability to start serving guests again. And I think it's going to be a really cool 24 months for the hospitality.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for joining me, Michael.
Of course. It's been my pleasure, Jason. I really appreciate the time.
You bet.
All right. Talk soon.